I move for no man, no man, no man, no man, no
We'll call it a draw.
no man.
Just a flesh wound, 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 just a flesh wound.
Is that really it?
Yeah.
You shaved because you want to look more serious?
Not look more serious, but like I don't know. I feel like it was just well, yeah, I guess more serious. I felt like it was a little like I don't know, like it's like a weird thing. Like it's not like I actually think that mustache looks good. I think it's fucking hilarious, but it's not really like wasn't really the time or place for that. So I shaved it up.
Yeah,
Plus, whenever
looking
you
like
speak-
a pedophile is not really the best move for.
Plus, whenever you speak to people, they like start laughing at you. So, I suppose.
Yes.
I mean, I got used to it. That's the only way I've ever known you. So.
Yeah, but I understand.
Yeah.
Hey, we're recording, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, boom.
Mm.
Chris, how was your birthday weekend, doggy?
It was good,
Oh,
man. Really good.
shit.
Busier than I normally like to do. Have my birthday weekends. I don't really like to do a lot for birthdays. I'm not really a big birthday guy, but I actually did some cool stuff.
Did
Spent
you get
the,
some birthday cake?
Yes, I did. Not really. We had a birthday tart. It was like a fruit tart. How lame is that? Oh, actually, yo, you want to? Actually,
I ate
got really good-
somebody else's birthday cakes in your memory
There you go.
And
just
and by
because it
cake.
was your birthday.
Hold
and
on
by
one second.
cake,
I'm going
I
to show you
mean-
my gift that I got.
Is that what it sounds like when you do it?
It sounds like I'm slurping out of a straw, a wet noodle.
Check this out. My cousin Jorge just came back from Argentina and got me a like legit traditional gaucho knife.
Wow.
Like I have a couple of these, but this is like a ceremonial one, obviously, like because it's shiny. But like I have the one that I use like for barbecues, and
That's cool.
this one's more like on display.
So I just started like
Awesome.
putting on a sexual tone, and this guy just took out a sacrificial knife.
There's another one that I have. This is the one that I use to like fillet people. So
Yeah.
this one's more.
Nice.
Is that what you use to barbecue?
Yeah, that's the
The-
barbecue knife.
Cut up all 100 pounds of beef that you guys had on that barbecue?
Yeah, we had
That was insane.
we literally had like 25 pounds of meat, and like 10 of it was sirloin. It was just like a ton of steak.
Dude, you guys,
Nice.
is there like a butcher in your family, bro? Because you
man.
guys consume a shit ton of meat.
We really do. My brother has 4 sons, so nothing ever goes to waste. But yeah, no, we eat a tremendous amount of meat.
You fucking.
It's definitely like an Argentinian thing for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like I went to, I never really knew what Argentinian food was like, and I went to this place. Now, who knows how commercial it is? It's hard to say, but it was like a nice restaurant. It's called El Gaucho's or something like that,
Mhm.
and it was like same quality or better. I would say even better than like going to like the Brazilian steakhouses and stuff like Fogo de Chao. It's not like buffet style, but it was still like enormous steaks and stuff like that. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Brazilian churrascarias. It's just like
Yeah.
a ton of meat, organ meats. Every part of the, it's basically snout to tail. We eat
Yeah.
everything.
Cool.
How many pounds of food do you think that you put away?
Me personally,
Yeah.
shit. I mean, we pretty much set it for about 2.5 pounds per person. Like that's how we kind of purchase how much meat we need for how many people we have. I probably did a little more than that.
Dude. You must have taken a massive shit afterwards.
This morning, yeah. My bowel movements are pretty regular.
Takes a couple days to set in, you know. It's the day after, that's the problem.
Well, I always get like we use so much salt, so I'm like my face bloats. So that
Yeah.
usually takes a couple days for
Yeah.
to go down.
I always get that Brazilian barbecue breath.
Oh,
Afterwards.
dude, I sweat
Just
like crazy.
Smell like for
I
forever.
saw you had some Duvel as well. That
Yeah.
beer's like it's got a high alcohol content.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good stuff. I like that.
Duvel's 8.5%. It's a Trappist style ale. We usually we had that as like kind of like our cheers. That was like our first drink of the day, And then we switch over to wine because barbecue
Just
drink
start
wine.
it off.
Yep.
Kick
Cool.
it off.
Clink. Yep. Clink clink.
Nice, man. So, what else you guys do?
Tell stories. Eat. Chill.
Gather around the barbecue.
We were barbecuing. It was pretty cold yesterday, but we were outside just like all layered up, staying close to the fire, cooking, eating, and we kind of do it in phases. Like we'll start out with like the sausages that I cook out first. We'll have the chicken on there and dry that out, and we'll kind of eat. Like it'll be like sausage and then chicken, and then it'll be ribs, and then we finish off with the steak and the red meat.
Bro, with that type of menu, there's no way I'm eating chicken. I'm like,
Nah,
if you try to pass
chicken's
that along to
good,
me, I'm
man.
like, fuck you, dude. Get away from me with that chicken, dog.
Dude, I feel
There's
the
no
same way.
chicken ever left over, like because it's really good. Like on the way when it's grilled the way it is, and the way that my brother spices it, and it like kind of like dries it out, and it comes really crispy. It's we don't have that much of it because everybody wants the steak, but there's never anything left over.
Yeah,
you
chicken can be
should-
done really well, but I'm kind of with you, Frankie, where like when chicken is like, no matter how well chicken is done, it's still chicken to me.
Yeah.
You know what I
Bro.
mean? It's just like,
It's not steak.
there's this place, they rave about it in like London. Apparently it's not from there though, but in the UK they love it. It's called Nando's, where it's just like all about like different spices on chicken and stuff. And they rave about it like it's a godsend, but I'm just like, guys, it's just
Chicken.
a chicken
Like,
restaurant.
fuck you and your
Fucking
chicken, dog.
You can only do
I
so
have it
many
every
different
other day.
things. Like, is a guy like sleeping with the chicken the night beforehand and petting it on the head beforehand? I don't know what the deal is, but it's not that special to me taste wise. I'm not really
And,
sure.
You're like, there's no way this is like being anything better than KFC, dog. Ain't nothing topping
I'm sure
fried
it is,
chicken.
but it's still chicken. Like, let's go to eat some steak, man.
If there was ever an animal that I could cut out and never eat again, it would be chicken. That would be
Oh,
my
yeah.
my first choice, 100%.
Dude, it's like Gary, when you go to that Fogo de Chao place and they try to give you that bullshit chicken or the sausages, the regular ordinary sausages.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I give the guy the
I'll
evil
have
eye.
like one. It's kind of like with what Chris said. It's like I'll have a little bit, but I'm definitely not like filling my stomach with that shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we do.
guys are
Are you familiar with this, Frankie? Morcilla. It's
Yeah, dude,
blood
I
sausage.
freaking love that.
Bro, Gary. So it's
It's blood sausages.
but yeah, it's a sausage, and it has like coagulated pork blood, pig blood in it. So
Huh.
they're actually black. They have it in England too. It's called. I think it's called black pudding. But
And it's
the
got
way-
like rice.
yeah, it can
rice
it
chunks
can
and stuff.
it can depending on the region it's from. But so we do that. We normally start with that. And it's funny, we have a little bit of saying is that we drink really heavily right away before we start barbecuing, and we get like drunk before we eat. But then we have the morcilla on bread with some chimichurri, olive oil and parsley and garlic under that, and you have that first, and it kind of like coats your stomach and soaks up all the booze, and then we can drink more. So we get all hammered on beer before, and then we
Yeah.
start cooking, and we eat the morcilla, and then we drink wine while we eat the rest of the meat.
Sure.
Jesus.
You guys
I
got a
can't
system.
imagine.
Yeah.
Important.
Yeah.
It takes
Yeah,
all
I can't
day.
imagine doing that. It's like when you hook up with like a super hot chick and then the next day you can't remember it. It's like, did we barbecue yesterday?
Chris has systems for that too, though.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
It's
I like the timestamp, so I'll take a lot of
little
selfies
different.
if I don't really remember what's going on, or I'll talk to myself. Hey, drunk Chris. This is drunk Chris.
Are you?
Hey, hangover Chris. This is drunk Chris.
You can and then
That's
you can
genius. That's genius.
that video that you sent us. You replay it of all the meats.
Mm.
Dude, I saw Gordon's house, Gary. Sick
Yeah,
crib.
It's cool, bro. Yeah, excited for him, man. I'm, I think it's the first time he had gotten an apartment in New York to try to get closer to training and stuff, so he wasn't driving like all the way from Monroe where I was driving. And then I think this is the first time he's ever purchased anything bigger than a car. So it's pretty cool.
Is it far away from Henzo's?
He was telling me that without traffic, I think it's under 30 minutes, but
That's
traffic
good.
gets tricky to New York, like depending upon the time, it can be still up to an hour away, but that's still significantly closer than Monroe, because with traffic in Monroe, like sometimes it could be an hour and a half, maybe more, depending
Dude,
upon circumstances.
Where do you guys park when you get there?
So there's a parking garage a little bit before Henzo's on 30th Street, because Henzo's is actually directly across the street from a parking garage. But if you go there, it's like literally like $50 or more, depending upon how long you stay. So the one that's a little bit up the street, they kind of cut a deal for us, and they do like $25 whenever we come in. So it's it still sucks, but it's manageable.
Yeah.
That I can pay. I can't pay $50 a day to train there.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of expense involved in that whole thing. That's why he moved. That's why I moved. It's just too much.
I saw another birthday gathering, Gary, at your grandma's house.
Oh yeah. We all got
was
together.
last week?
Yeah. My grandma's birthday's on Valentine's Day. So at Valentine's Day, it's actually like a perfect excuse because I forget who was asking like at the family gathering, like, oh, you have any Valentine's Day plans? I'm like, hell no. I was like, you make Valentine's Day plans with a chick, like that's sending the wrong message, dude. Like you're in trouble if you're making those plans.
Yeah.
And for some people, they don't have an excuse. Like for most people, if they try to like make an excuse about Valentine's Day, they're gonna know that they're a side chick, right? Yeah. But for me, grandma's always been the side chick. So it's the main chick, I should say. Grandma's always been the main chick, and that way they get off my case. There's no worries. Oh, you're so sweet. You're gonna spend your time with your grandma on Valentine's Day.
So you're using your grandma as a scapegoat. That's
absolutely
what you're saying.
So
who was all there?
She would have it no other way.
I saw a bunch of people there. Who was all there?
Oh, sister, aunts, uncle, dad.
What's your sister's name? Is that the blonde chick in the pictures?
Don't act like you don't know. I know you stalk her on Instagram, you creepy fuck. All right.
Gary, how old is your grandma?
My grandma, I think, just turned 85, if I'm not mistaken.
Why you asking Chris? You want to wingman it up?
No, man. Just I think I don't know. Just to see how old. Because my grandma's 91. She's like still kicking ass. So I like seeing old people.
It was a diversion so that he could eventually ask how old my sister was.
Yeah.
I already know, Gary.
Chris is smart.
Gary, how much shit do you get online whenever you post anything about your sister?
Oh, I mean, it's hilarious. There's definitely a ton of people. I've done a ton of terrible things to her in her lifetime, as well as through social media now that I have this power. So a couple different things. First, just to make a note, we've had this conversation before, I think, Frankie, where like, my friends will bust my balls about my sister, but at the end of the day, like to me, like I'd rather have my friends date my sister than anybody else. So I don't really care. Like my friends could say whatever they want. Like to me, it's better than like me having to get to know some random dude. Like I know you guys, so like if I need to find you and kill you, I can. With some random guy I don't know. How it is. Point. So I don't know. I don't feel the same way most people do, where they get all pissed about their friends, like being interested in their sister. But as far as like social media is concerned, I've really messed with her. So I tend to mess with her boyfriends more than I mess with her specifically. But here and there, I remember one dude sent me a dick pic on Snapchat, and I like posted his handle and was like, listen, I think it would be much better. I really appreciate it, but it would be much better received by my sister. And I left her Snapchat handle. And so I think a bunch of dudes started sending her dick pics on Snapchat. But her boyfriends, I've like, I don't remember.
I'm sure
exactly
they'll appreciate that.
But oh yeah, I'm sure they do. I sent something. I would like post a photo of them, and I'd be like, hey, could you guys please harass my sister's boyfriend for me? And like literally like 13-year-old kids are like calling him a pussy. They said something like he has 2 dads and he works an unpaid internship or something. Like there were some pretty good fucking lines on there.
Damn.
That's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Release the horde.
Get him, boys.
Get him.
Yeah.
Nice, man. So, I guess I was stalking both of your IGs for little bits this weekend. I saw your throwback picture with Stallone. I just love the way that you guys were doing, the whole boxing pose, like you guys were gonna fight. And dude, Stallone was doing like this whole Hollywood, like, oh, I do this with everybody, like I pose with everybody. And Chris had his fucking knuckle balls deep in Stallone's cheek, man.
So this is
Like,
what
having-
you cannot
yeah, shit.
do that
he
to fucking
grabs
Rocky.
my hand, dude. And first of all, that guy is so fucking strong. Like when I stood next to him, he put his arm around me, and I was like, "What is this gorilla who's touching?" Like, yo, he's so strong. But he grabbed my wrist and put my fist all the way up to his face, and like put it like really. I would never do that. I would never try and touch a guy's face with
That's
my fist. I think that's
amazing.
disrespectful. He grabbed
Not
his hand.
any
and put
guy.
it-
That man is
Exactly.
a national treasure.
That's
Really is.
amazing.
Put it right up to his face, like press my. I'm like, all right, this is the way you do it.
So John tells a story about Stallone. Apparently, GSP went there. Maybe they both went there. I'm not 100% sure. Talking about like getting led through some hallway with a bunch of photos, and like there's some like movie photos, some fight photos and stuff. But like at the end of the hallway, there was just like this giant like dining room table size photo of like Stallone like half naked with like a bunch of chicks like hugging his legs and stuff and flexing, and I was just like, yes, man, that's definitely a dream photo I need to have hanging on my wall like above a fireplace or something, you know.
I can't help but think about the movie Average Joe, the Global Gym with
Oh, yeah.
Ben Stiller, when he's got the picture of him grabbing the bull by the horns, like Bob
Yeah.
his neck. He's like, it's me, you know, grabbing the bull by the horns. It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
Don't you have
but
that? flag,
literally, I
Gary?
did that.
You have a
Yeah,
flag.
I think I showed it to you guys the one time.
Is it that one or
But I'm planning on
from
walking out
Dodgeball?
with it next, like the same way that people walk out with like the American flag or whatever.
That
I'm
would
just
be
gonna
epic. You
carry that
100%
like draped around me.
100% should do that in your next fight.
I'm
That
excited.
would be epic. Yeah, that would be amazing. So Gary, I got an interesting DM this weekend.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh man, I don't know if I want to hear about this. I hope it's not another pregnancy scare.
Just pull it up. I think you might know this person.
This is terrifying to me.
I'm just glad it's not me.
I don't know. It's like you're like all over her Instagram, so I suppose you know her. Her name is Laurel Fitz. I mean, you're all over her
Okay.
Instagram. Do you guys know each other?
Uh-huh. Yes, we do. That's my mother. That is my mother. Definitely hoping it's not a pregnancy scare now.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Listen, dog, I blocked her immediately. There's
Nice,
no way.
smart,
Yeah.
smart. It's definitely the best move.
Wait, she literally did DM you though?
Yeah, 100%. But it was like she kept it PG. She
First
knows
my
it.
sister, and now you're fucking hitting on my mom, dude. What the fuck?
No. I mean, I this is uncalled for, man. I mean, I didn't do anything. I didn't initiate anything.
I thought you
And I
were a
won't
gentleman and
pursue
a
it,
scholar.
I promise. I
Thought
promise
this
I
was a
won't pursue it.
sacred. This is a sacred brotherhood. This podcast, I thought.
Yeah.
Tag
All right.
teaming my
That
mom.
note-
and sister.
We got
Jesus.
we got the okay for the sister, but moms are off limits, dude.
All right, so let's head on over to current event, guys.
Current events.
So you're just not gonna talk about what she said in the DM? Is this what we're gonna do? You're just gonna say my mom DM'd you. You guys
No,
talk,
man,
and
she
then
was
you're
just
just
talking
gonna move
about-
on and talk about current events. That's
She
what's
was
gonna
talking
happen.
about her taking your coffee. About how
Okay.
she went over to your house and took your coffee.
Mm.
Nothing to be concerned about, Gary.
Yeah, I'm running out. By the way, I have like half a bag.
Oh, I
I
am
brought
out
with me.
actually. I just ran out
I'll
this
send
morning.
both
Yeah,
of you guys. Is there any special kind that you want?
dude, I love the original,
You
the
original?
white bag. Love it.
What about you, Gary? Kind
I
of
like all
coffee
of them,
for-
but I like the amber roast.
Amber?
Mm.
Okay, got you guys.
Eyewitness News, where news comes first.
Did you guys see Trump at the NASCAR rally?
I didn't see that, but it sounds amazing.
It was fucking epic.
Well, that makes sense because he was at the Wilder fight, and they were both in Vegas.
Dude,
Same
this
week.
guy landed his Air Force One right next to the track and came in his big ass like presidential limo and did a lap around the track.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
badass.
it's like a Hummer.
He's winning the election again. Like a lot of people watch NASCAR. A lot of people, and a lot of Americans watch
But
NASCAR.
Everybody was cheering him on. And when he got out of there, it was like AC/DC, like damn, now.
If you guys have watched, what was that movie? I'm trying to remember. It's about Idiocracy. Have you guys watched that movie?
Yeah, you just read my mind. He is.
Dude, it's literally the movie.
What's going on?
That's literally the world.
I know, it's like
It's amazing.
he
Anybody
gives
that hasn't
zero
watched that movie, you
fucks,
need to
bro.
drop what you're doing and watch it sometime this week,
That
very
movie is
soon, because
epic.
it's such a
Very
special
true.
movie. Number one, and number two,
We're living
you'll be so surprised how much we're living in that era right now.
Dude, I actually never thought about it until you just brought it up, and it makes total sense.
Yeah, it's exactly what.
There's way more parallels in that than there are in like Back to the Future. You know what I mean? There's way
100%.
more parallels.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys watch the Wilder fight?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
of course. You were there, Chris.
I was there. Yeah.
Talked about,
I was
yeah,
there.
we spoke about it.
Mhm.
I bring it up because what do you guys think of that costume excuse that he's
Wow.
saying now? I mean, I heard him. He was on the Rogan podcast saying that he trains with a 45-pound vest. So he literally said that he trains with a 45-pound vest, and now he says that his costume that weighed 40 pounds was a culprit.
Listen, he fought his ass off. He didn't quit. He got beat up. He was completely outclassed that night. Got hurt. Probably busted his eardrum. His equilibrium was all off. But he fought his ass off. Wanted to go out on his shield. Said everything right in the post-fight interview. Like, was just the better man. He was very, very gracious in the feet. Really awesome. Made me more of a fan. But then they come back with that. The boxing world came down on him hard. You can't.
Well, I think
make excuses.
the whole world came down on him hard, and there's like, man, so many videos and memes of Wilder. It's you sent me one, Chris, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, Shredder. Shredder fought 4 Ninja Turtles and Master Splinter wearing the same outfit as Wilder and didn't complain once.
Amazing.
What do you guys think about a
I
rematch?
think like, well,
What'd you say,
I
Garry?
mean, if they do a rematch, I think it's either I don't think they should do one, but I think it's only going to get worse. Like I thought it was going to get worse this time, and it was pretty goddamn bad.
Yeah.
I don't see it getting any better. So I kind of feel like he's not going to push for it, but I could be wrong on that. I mean, I don't know. There's still money to be made, so who knows?
I think at this point he has to
uh,
take it. He has to take that rematch.
I
mean, for his
agree.
for his brand,
Yeah.
his image, right?
He's got to go and fight. I would rather see him fight Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, for example. I'd rather him fight Anthony Joshua than have this third rubber match.
Agreed.
But the thing about Wilder is he's always a live dog because he can punch.
Yeah.
He's got that literally a puncher's chance.
Like even though he got completely washed in this fight, I think in the third fight he still has a good chance to win. Like he's just that kind of guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I still wouldn't count him out. I just think that, man, like he had him pegged for most of the first fight. It got worse this fight. It just doesn't seem like we're headed in a direction where things are going to swing back the other way. But you never know. There's a lot of fucking elements of fighting. It's really hard to say. I'm not a big fan personally of doing too much more than a rematch. Honestly, not too big of a fan of rematches in general. But, when we just start doing trilogies and stuff, it just starts to get like the same thing over and over again. I don't know. I'm not as interested in it personally.
Yeah, I think it also blocks other good matchups when you have those kind of fights. Then you're looking at 18 months worth of one guy fighting another guy, and it blocks other from making big money or making
that definitely sucks for other people. That should kind of be something that that's almost a rule that can't happen because that's just not fair. There's a lot of other great fighters out there. It's hard to just go, oh yeah, we're just gonna watch these guys fight for the next fucking 2 years.
It's
like, what?
I'm with Garry on this one. It's if you look at both fights, it's Fury went 19 rounds to 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I had Fury winning.
If you look at it that way, it's not very competitive at all.
Same.
Yeah. So this whole coronavirus has affected
everything.
The whole freaking world. So there was a cruise ship that was sent back from DR this weekend. So, and then I was reading that the cruise industry has taken a massive, massive hit. It's like they wouldn't let the tourists on land, man. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
Were there like sick people? Were there cases of corona?
No, dude, they just like
They're just like
they shut shit down.
Wow.
And I'm sure it's happening like in Caribbean islands other than the Dominican Republic. So
I mean, yeah, it is international travel. It makes sense. You gotta be careful.
that's some fucked up shit. Yeah, especially when a cruise has a bunch of people from so many different nationalities. You can't bet everybody.
I have a live counter for number of cases of coronavirus that like it's like a constantly going thing. What are we at right now? Let's see. It's like a widget that keeps it up. So we got 90,000 cases worldwide and 3,000 deaths so far.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Well, is it really?
I mean, in the grand scheme of things,
In the
like
grand
I don't know.
scheme of thing, I don't know.
I don't
think
know enough
it's-
about other
I think
diseases.
influenza kills more people than that. So
Yeah.
it's just
the Spanish flu.
I think
killed,
it's more of a scare
billion
because
and a
there's
half.
no vaccine for it yet.
Yeah.
So there's really nothing to do. So Russian
It still
president.
also seems like it's mostly killing like weaker people, not so much just like everybody, you know.
Right.
That's what's really scary is if you got like a fucking disease that's like taking people out that are like perfectly healthy, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong, it fucking sucks regardless for people to die.
Right.
Don't get me, but like at the same time, it's a little bit more being a healthy person, I guess. It's a little bit more builds a little bit more confidence that I'm not gonna fucking just come down with this shit and die one day, you know?
Yeah, I don't think some of the best fighters in the world have anything to worry about when it comes to.
Yeah.
So we're all good, dog. Coronavirus, come get us, dog. Come get us.
Bring it. I got immune system. We're
Bring
good.
it. We ain't no bitches. So, Russian President Vladimir Putin has submitted to the parliament a constitutional change, including amendments that mention God and stipulate that marriage is a union of man and woman, in which proposes jailing people for public displays of non-heterosexual oriented or gender identity. Basically, say if you're gay, you better start packing. Get the fuck out of Russia.
It's crazy,
So,
man.
how fucking crazy is that in 2020, this dude is fucking with religion and sexuality, like literally being a homophobe.
It's crazy.
Mm.
Iran is like that too, right? Like they're really against homosexuality and gay marriage.
Yeah, but I don't feel that it's on the same level as Russia. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think it's like a legal
Dude,
statute like you're saying.
Russia is a first world country, isn't it? It's not like, I don't know, it's like a more modern society.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It seems odd, like very odd to me to fucking try to create legislation around stuff like that. Just like, I just don't understand what the agenda is. I just don't really, it's hard for me to I can wrap my head around somebody being uncomfortable with it. Like I'm uncomfortable with a lot of things. But like, it's hard for me to wrap my head around the idea that like people want to make it like illegal or like a chargeable offense or something for somebody to be gay. It's kind of weird.
I think that's just Putin flexing his power. You know, that's the way he feels. I don't know. He's unchecked. You know, he can do whatever he wants, and this is another case of that.
Yeah. So I guess surrounding countries, y'all know what's coming.
A lot of gay Russians.
A lot of tough ass gay Russians
A lot of really
that will
tough.
beat the fuck out of you
I'd
and then stick
actually
their dick in
venture
your
to
mouth.
guess. I'd actually venture to guess that there's probably a more profound negative impact from people trying to hide their homosexuality because of this sort of thing than there would be from actual, like I would imagine you would be more worried about that. That would be, because I mean that kind of shit like fucks with families and stuff. You see people get married and then they end up saying like, oh yeah, by the way, I was actually gay and I've been faking it the whole time just because I'm a politician or whatever the case may be. Like that has much more of a bad impact on society than I think any of the things that they might be worried about. I guess like they might be worried about like religious institutions and things like that, but I don't know, man. It seems like that'd be much worse.
Dude, have you guys ever had any gay people like be confrontational with you guys? Have you guys had any issues with like any gay men?
No,
Well,
I mean,
Anything like that?
Well, one of my
Get-
best
get
friends
aggro?
in high school was gay, and
Did you know that
I
he
mean,
was
we'd
gay?
fight with each other, but not like it's not like it would. I don't know.
Was he out
It
of the
wasn't
closet?
anything different than other fights. What's that?
Was he out of the closet then?
What? At first he wasn't. So here's what happened. This was like fucking super difficult for me. So at first, like he seemed somewhat effeminate, so people would like make fun of him and say that he was gay, and he would
Gotcha.
always fight back against it. And
Yeah.
I was his friend, so naturally, what do you do as a friend when somebody's fucking getting bullied for shit? You stand up for them. So I'd be like, nah, fuck off, like he's not gay, whatever the case may be. So I was always like trying to defend him against all these people trying to say that, right?
Right.
And not to say that it wasn't the right thing to do regardless. But I guess like some of the times that I did it, it was probably like a lot, I was really putting myself out there saying like, oh, you're wrong, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would have conversations with me, saying, because obviously his self-esteem, would be hurt by people fucking, bullying him and shit like that. He's like, oh man, what do you think? Like, what do you, do you understand like why they're doing that, this, that, and the other thing? I'd be like, no, man, like you're cool. Like if you, and I'm just trying to like build his confidence that I believe that he's not gay. Right.
Okay.
So I'm like, no, man. I was like, you don't seem gay to me. I was like, bro, if I thought you were gay, like I'd never let you fucking like sleep over my house. Like we wouldn't hang out like we hang out.
Oh shit.
But dude, that had the exact opposite impact because of course, like him knowing that he's gay, but like me not knowing it now.
He probably
because
wanted
he's
to come out
continuing to resist the
to
idea.
you.
Yeah. So he's like, then he shut that whole shit down for like another like 6 months because, I said that shit. But it was like me just trying to like build
Make him feel
confidence in my
better, yeah.
friend who seemed like his ego was bruised because he had been insisting that he wasn't gay. So it was like such a weird thing. Eventually, when he did finally come out and stuff, he was like, oh yeah, I was super nervous to tell you because you said that. And I was like, dude, I only said that because I was trying to be a good friend. Like,
Yeah. And you
it
only made
wasn't
it
the
worse,
right thing to
Garry.
say at the time in retrospect, but yeah.
You only made
But
it
he was
worse.
super dramatic, speaking to what you were talking about before. But I don't know if we ever really like got into like a fist fight or anything like that.
Dude, I had a confrontation in college. I was dating this girl, and her best friend was a gay dude, right? So since we started dating, like she stopped like really hanging out with him. Plus, I didn't really like him because he was like such a gossip queen and used to talk shit about everybody, including me. So
Why
he
would
was
somebody
just-
do that to you, Frankie?
Yeah, I don't know,
You're
man. I
such an
mean, I'm
angel.
such a fucking stand-up guy, you know.
You're such a beautiful human
Such
being
a
that makes no
nice
mistakes, and you're a
person.
treasure, really, to society.
I would say so. But so I heard
That
through
is
the
definitely his
grapevine that
nickname,
this
the
guy
treasure.
started spreading shit about me and just like started talking shit about me. And one day we were at a club, and he was looking at me like really nasty, like he wanted to fucking kill me, right? So like after doing this, like every time I would stare like that way, he was looking at me, just fucking
I mean, maybe
piercing a hole through my skull.
Yeah, maybe he just liked you, bro.
Yeah, man.
Who knows?
I'm gonna go
I
with
think
that.
you're misreading this.
Listen,
Yeah.
okay, whatever.
I think you're
So-
I think your ability
So
to
I went up to the
gaze
dude
is a
and
little off.
I'm like, what the hell is your problem? And he looks at me and he's like, what the fuck is your problem? And we start looking at each other, and it's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like it's either it pops off or I walk away because this dude just stood his ground, and I was
Yeah.
way bigger than him. So it's a lose-lose. Like, what am I gonna do? Like fucking punch this dude, and then I'm the guy that's like,
gay
you know,
bashing.
beating up on the gay basher.
Yeah.
Or this guy gets a lucky shot on me. I was pretty tipsy. He fucking knocks me out, and then I'm that dude that got knocked out by the skinny gay dude.
By a little guy.
So I decided to take the higher ground and walk away with my tail
Smart
between
move,
my
Frankie.
legs.
Smart move. Some battles.
Right, I'm not fucking
some
with
battles
that
are
dude
best
ever
not.
again. You win.
Surrender.
Yeah, I don't have any stories like that. I have a couple openly gay friends, and they're just dudes who like other dudes. That's it's what it is.
Well, good. You guys shouldn't engage in any of those activities anyways. Violence is bad. You guys do it for a living. You shouldn't be doing that on the streets.
Yeah, I don't fight. I don't know, Garry, I'm sure you don't either. We don't fight for free.
Right.
Once you've been paid to fight,
Yeah,
there's
man.
no fighting for free anymore.
Yeah, we already got our fight stories out there. Thankfully, I didn't get stabbed. Although now that I live closer to New York, it's probably more likely.
New York's not too bad anymore. It's pretty safe these days.
The public transit, well, it's safe for now. Well, I'll have to have Frankie look this up, or maybe I'll look it up for one of our future podcasts. But I don't want to like misquote it too much. But I'm fairly certain that that Rikers on some level is closing, and a lot of certain level criminals are getting released.
Really?
Also changed the bail laws so that, and again, I could be like misreporting this. People should look it up on their own. I don't want, Garry Tonin to be the source of fake news here, but I'm fairly certain that they changed the bail laws. So like everything that's like not an extreme crime. So like something like you just like rob somebody, you're pretty much just going to get out immediately after you get processed. Like they're going to take you to jail briefly, but then you're going to get out immediately without having to post bail, from what I understand. And I think there's a lengthy list of like crimes that seem like you should probably get locked away and have to post bail for.
I mean, I'm going to assume
what it's causing, I think. Yeah, you would imagine. I think so. I think
Oh.
most of it is.
Budget
But
cuts.
either way, I think with the influx
Overcrowding,
of
probably.
prisoners potentially and the lack of imprisonment overall, I really think that things are going to get drastically worse over the course of the next couple of years. But again, I have to do more research about it. I don't want to like try to pop off too hard about it until I really know what I'm talking about.
Well, talking about jail, you guys see that Harvey Weinstein is going to the pokey. He
Yep.
finally,
I did.
he's facing up to 25 years in jail.
That guy's a fucking creep.
Hashtag me too. It worked.
Got him.
Yeah, I have to say though, I was pretty. It's definitely like a really big thing, obviously. But when you look at the evidence that the jury was providing, I would say that most of the time that the type of evidence that they were providing, or not jury, sorry, the defender, or what would you call it? Not the prosecutor, because that's the person.
Jury?
I think it'd be the defendant. I think you're right. The defending attorneys.
His lawyer, like as the defendant was providing, was stuff that I think would normally get people off of these types of convictions, which is pretty revolutionary. They're kind of setting the tone for future cases, because there was basically in a lot of the what was said between the two people, the person that's accusing him, I guess, of whether it's sexual misconduct or rape or whatever the case may be, the main argument that they're using was that like she had continued to follow up with him and date him and see him after the alleged incidents. And I think usually that's enough to kind of get the jury to go, oh yeah, like there's reasonable doubt here that maybe this is just a disgruntled person who doesn't like him anymore and is kind of trying to defame him, right? But they didn't take it in this case. And there was like, there's like text messages, evidence and stuff like that, hard evidence. So it was interesting to see.
Well, the thing is that so many people stood up and came out saying that that he sexually assaulted them, that it's like, I mean, when just so many people come out and say that, it's kind of hard to ignore that.
Yeah, it was way too public.
I'm sure like the whole jury came with that in mind.
Yeah, which is probably why it happened the way that it did. I think in the case of somebody that wasn't as high profile, I think there actually probably would have been a different result in that trial.
Yeah, man, there would. If that guy would have been let go, there would have been riots, dog.
Yeah, it would have been really bad. I think they all recognize that. So I think from everybody's perspective, that's probably the, who knows? I'm not like fucking involved in the legal system, but I think that put a lot of pressure on people to make sure that something was done.
So he came into the courtroom and he looked like he was 80 years old.
Yeah,
he came in a walker. Dude,
saw that shit.
He's aged in 1 year like fucking 20 to 30 years.
Stress is a motherfucker. You see that a lot with a lot of people who are on trial for a long time. Like they age so fast.
It's got to be crazy stressful for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, especially something like
especially because he knows he's
literally
guilty.
Yeah, it's literally like the whole world's against you too, though. It's not like in his case, it's not like he's probably like at the point where like if he shows up literally anywhere, like he gets treated like a complete shitbag. Not to say that he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying that's like he probably like just can't live life at
No,
all.
That's the
anymore.
world. That's the world we
Right.
live in now, though. Like you
Yeah.
can't get away from this stuff. Everything's out there.
Yeah.
All right. Chris's nutrition tips and hacks.
It's Chris's fitness tips. He's got for you. He's got the little tips. He's gonna give it all to you. Just the tip. The little fitness tip. He's gonna give it all to you.
So today I want to kind of go over some like typical breakfasts for different varying like volume training days or training volume days. So on like a more high octane day or a high volume day, or like a day where I'm sparring, for example, or a day where I have multiple sessions, I like to really get a lot of carbs in early. And if I have a lot of time before my first workout, I'll do something like a bowl of oatmeal, either half a cup or 3/4 of a cup of cooked oatmeal, and I'll add 1 or 2 tablespoons of beetroot powder to that. Beetroot is a vasodilator, so we talked about that on a previous podcast. Opens up the blood vessels, allows your blood flow through, bring whatever nutrients you're eating to your working muscles, so you can use them for your actual workout. And then I'll add like non-animal product proteins like hemp seed powder, pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are a great source of non-meat protein, and then fresh berries for the antioxidants and just some extra fiber. And then I like to have grapefruit as well. And then I'll usually, for a protein source, I'll do usually 4 eggs, 2 whole eggs and then 2 egg whites. And that usually is a good amount of food for me. It keeps me pretty full. So if I have a few hours before my training session, that's the kind of meal that I'll have. And usually that keeps me pretty fueled for a long or exhaustive day or series of workouts. On a day that's maybe not as performance-based, like if it's a non-sparring day, it's just like a technical training session, or even like a long duration endurance workout where I'm not so worried about my actual performance. I just kind of get through it. And if I'm trying to cut down a weight, I'll have more of a meal that's going to be a little lower in carb, a little bit lower in calories altogether. So in that case, I would do I love eggs, so I eat eggs every day. But I would do like 2 fried eggs, and then I would have some sprouted grain toast, which your body can digest much easier than just like regular processed white bread.
There's a question for the smoothie, Chris.
Oh, okay.
There's a question for your smoothie. Should the smoothie or can the smoothie be consumed before laying down the hammer?
Yes, and if you are, so there's 2 things you can add to this.
Asking for a friend.
To improve the hammer is going to be two supplements I think are really good. One is citrulline malate, which is one of those vasodilators, which that's kind of like, yeah, write that shit down. That's like the supplement version of Viagra.
Why not just add Viagra to the smoothie?
To the smoothie? just throw it in the blender?
Just saying.
I would
just saying.
Careful with that. Viagra has some side effects. It makes you really like dry mouth, cotton mouth, and can actually make you feel kind of just like you just kind of feel fucked up after it.
Yeah, I would never know any of those side effects like firsthand. I've never experienced any of them. I obviously would never use.
Yes, you stick strictly to your Thai products, your Thai sprays.
You mean the dick pills at the counter at the gas station?
Asian dick pills.
Dude, I have to say, I went through a series of like probably like 6 months where I was taking those. Like I would just go into random gas stations and I'm like, let's see what works, right?
Ew.
And I'd be testing all these different products. Holy shit, man! There was times where like I would take something and like I just couldn't sleep for like 12 hours. Like I would take something. I just feel like my fucking heart was gonna beat out of my chest.
Because all
that
the
shit's
blood left your
dangerous,
brain
man. I
is
do
in your
not
veins.
encourage anybody. I do not encourage anybody to
Dude,
take
I think I read an article.
over-the-counter Black Rhino 8, fucking whatever it is.
I think I read somewhere that it's the same owner of all these like dick pills, and then the FDA just shuts them down, and then they reopen a new company because it makes so much goddamn money.
So they'll put actual ingredients like the actual Viagra or Levitra or Cialis into the over-the-counter pills, along with a bunch of other random shit. And then once they get caught, they'll close it down, reopen it. And that's why oftentimes it's like Thunder Rod 7, because like Thunder Rod 6 got shut down by the
6
FDA.
got shut down.
Yeah, they got shut down once a year.
Dude, so
Yeah.
Gary, how does it compare to pharmaceuticals?
What did you say? I didn't hear that.
How do those products compare to like pharmaceutical ones?
Oh, well, as we discussed, I would never, ever take any of the farm. But if I,
What do
all
your
the
friends
people,
say
all my
about it,
friends that,
What do
all
your
my
friends
really
say?
close
From
friends.
anecdotal evidence, Gary, what
Yeah. What do your boys say?
I would say the pharmaceuticals are definitely better and definitely safer for sure. There's even the ways that you can get a hold of them that are like not the most wholesome and just contacting like some random Indian pharmacy. I still think doing that is safer than taking over-the-counter dick pills from 7-Eleven. Like
Gotcha.
that's still a better idea in my opinion. I
want
think you should still be careful and you should read up about the drugs. Like I think anything you put in your body, you should be smart and like do some research about, for sure. I would say I from the anecdotal evidence, biggest fan of Levitra. It's somewhere between Cialis and Viagra, because the Cialis is a little bit of a long-term effect we're talking about. Like you could be somewhere
long?
between 36 and 48 hours, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
so
So
if
you're
you put
like-
that in your if you put that in your
Time.
pre-workout smoothie, you're gonna be rolling around with a hammer in your
it's
gi.
rough.
So you're,
It's
you're
rough.
at the subway and someone brushes you the wrong way and
Ooh.
you pitch a tent.
Yeah, man.
You guys should give citrulline malate a try though. It's
Mhm.
pretty effective and there's no side effects.
Gonna look it up.
Nice.
Gonna
Yeah,
look
it's,
it up.
it's found naturally in like watermelon. That's why like watermelon's like a vasodilator. Like a lot of guys who like bodybuilders will like eat a ton of watermelon before they go lift because you gotta like go sick pump. It's pretty much anything that gives you your arms a pump gives your dick a pump. So that's
So how is it just as effective to cut a hole in the watermelon and just soak in it?
topical absorption. I like
Intravenously?
that. Topical.
Jesus.
Because one of my friends may have done that.
It might work.
They had
It might work.
interesting results.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
people love experimenting. You know, the other day I got an email on a customer asking if like I had ever consumed Chimera coffee via an enema.
Oh,
like-
coffee enemas.
Nice.
I'm like,
Is it safe
Dude,
to
he was
use
bi-
Chimera coffee as an enema? Are you allowed to do that?
he was being serious too.
I don't see why not. No, that's a big thing. People are like really into that.
I'm like, dude, why don't you just try it out and then tell me how it goes?
Frank, I think you should try that out.
You can be our first test subject.
You could be our guinea pig.
Frank, you got to know your product, bro. You gotta try it out yourself.
Yeah, tomorrow
you have to test
I'll
yourself, dude.
start putting it up my ass and give you guys an update.
Oh, dude, I
For
did
sure.
I did the beet creamer this morning in my coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
stuff's
awesome.
good.
That's really good.
Dude, can you believe I brought like yesterday? I'm trying to think like because I moved into my apartment yesterday and I'm thinking like, okay, I'm gonna sleep there. So like, what are like the bare minimum things that I need like for tomorrow? Because I obviously couldn't move all my shit in one day because I didn't hire a moving company because I'm a cheap fuck. So I bring over my coffee machine. I'm thinking like, all right, like I need to have coffee in the morning. I don't want to have to go out and get it. So I bring my coffee machine over. I bring the Chimera coffee. I don't bring the fucking coffee pot like a fucking idiot.
Nice.
So I have to take like a Snapple bottle and like press it up against that little thing that like
Yeah,
when you
that
press
lifts it up and
coffee comes out
and
and,
makes
I'm
it
like
pour down.
slowly pouring it into like a plastic Snapple bottle, probably like
That's
eating
awesome.
like bits and pieces of plastic.
Was it burning your finger too?
Oh yeah, the entire time.
Man, that's gangster. Well, I mean, the lengths that you got to go to get
Hey,
your
man,
coffee,
gotta
right?
Gotta get
Gotta
that
get that
fixed.
Chimera fix, bro.
Mhm.
You know what you could also do? Oh, wait, no, you said you didn't bring the pot. Yeah, because if you have the strainer up top, you could use the strainer and put it on top of your glass or your cup, your mug.
Yeah, I didn't have a cup either, like a total retard. Like didn't bring anything to put in.
Okay.
Thank God I had
I'm
this
done with
Snapple
you.
bottle.
We gotta-
Otherwise,
we
I
gotta-
literally would have
Yeah,
had to
forget
just go
about
like
it.
this with this fucking
Yeah.
strainer and drink it out of this strainer.
You need an emergency French press. It's always good to have-
Yes.
I was gonna recommend that, but yeah, I'm not anymore.
I'm
So-
not even fuck this guy. I'm not.
Yeah, fuck
Next
this
time
guy,
I'll
right?
just use it as an enema instead.
Chris, you
It's
were
probably
saying
the safest
about
thing.
the high octane meals before I rudely asked you that smoothie question.
Yeah, so we did the high octane, and then like the moderate days, I'll just cut down. I'll take out the oatmeal and I'll do 2 pieces of toast instead, which is much lower in carbs. And then I'll kind of make up the difference with like high fiber berries and fruits. And then on my low days, like on a recovery day, I'll really focus on proteins and fats. And for the most part, those days I'll do like on a Sunday, for example, if I have off. And I still want to have protein so I can recover and repair any damaged tissue or muscle from the training week. Then I'll focus on like a veggie omelet, and I'll do the same kind of thing: 2 whole eggs and then 2 egg whites. Make a nice big omelet, fill it with whatever veggies I have in the fridge, whether there's leftover broccoli or spinach or arugula, onions, mushrooms, whatever I got in there. Kind of throw that all in there. Cover it with half an avocado, and then again some berries, and I'll just cut out the carbs, the starches altogether. No oatmeal, no bread that morning.
Is this the same Chris that consumed 25 pounds of beef yesterday on Sunday, which is his off day?
That was my off day, my recovery day. I had to get my sodium, my protein in.
He had 16
you have a
stalks
twin,
of celery after
identical twin brother that we don't know about?
Yesterday's a little different. It was my birthday. I had to go in a little bit. Plus the bottle and a half of red wine.
And the Duvels.
That was important. And the Duvels and the beers.
It's Gary's product review. Shit nobody needs, but Gary buys too.
Did I show you guys the bowl that's full of liquor or no?
No.
No, I didn't. I could have swore I did. Maybe not.
For the listeners at home, we never know what he's coming with.
Yeah.
So this was apparently one of the apartment essentials that I decided to grab.
That's actually awesome.
It's pretty cool, right?
It's a bowl.
So it's got
crusted
Glenlivet in it right now, 12.
Nice.
So
with whiskey.
That's a fine drink.
So basically, you see how it's on like this stand? So it's not like directly attached to the stand or anything. So my sister's boyfriend got it for me for Christmas.
Was that before or after you sent the horde to send him dick pics?
It was before. Thankfully, I made sure that to get my Christmas present before I fucked it up. So if you face this the other direction, I don't know if I could really show this, but the feet don't like fit into it properly. Mm-hmm. Okay. Which isn't a problem, obviously. You just turn it around, which I figured out like immediately. And he was like, oh yeah, like, online they said like some people have problems, like the feet don't line up or something like that. And so I put it in and I noticed that the feet don't line up, but then I immediately just like turned it around and the feet fit perfect. And I soon realized like literally tens of people online put this thing in facing the wrong direction and just never thought to face it the other direction. And they're like, yeah, I super glued its feet to it or something because, they just
they wouldn't think to just like.
Don't worry, fixed it. We're good. I'm handy.
It's like a person that tries to put a football in a locker and they just keep shoving it in widthwise and it won't go in. Oh man, it's not going to fit, I guess.
And then they complain about it.
Yeah.
The locker's broken.
Exactly.
So how does it pour? You take the tail out?
It pours out of its butt, sort of.
Out of its butt?
The tail of the cork.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's a decanter, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so classic, Gary.
Man.
Is that a bull? Is it a bull or a horse?
It's a bull.
Out of the bull's ass?
It does have so I was a little upset at the size of the penis, but it does have a penis on it.
Oh, yeah. I can see it.
Yeah.
It's got a little guy there.
Yeah, that's not anatomically correct for a bull.
I don't think they're doing it justice. I think he deserves something a little bigger than that.
That thing should be hanging down.
I think so. But what are you gonna do?
Beautiful.
Still a gift. I'm a fan.
All right.
A couple points in my.
To our listeners, if you have any questions or you want us to hit up any subjects, hit us up at fleshwoundpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to give you awesome advice. All right, bitches. Good one. See you later, guys.
Unless you're my sister, quit fucking DMing Frankie.
Are you talking to your mom right now?
All of the females in my family stopped DMing Frankie.
You can DM me though. Cool.
You can DM Chris.
Yeah, DM
It's
Chris.
fine, not
Chris
Frankie.
has got a
Not Frankie.
nicer looking body. Peace, fucks.
I move
All right, guys,
Later.
thanks so
for
much.
no man, no man, no man, no
All right.
man, no
We'll call it a draw.
no man.
Just a flesh wound, just a flesh wound, just a flesh wound, just a flesh